All right, this is my review for Les Miserables, which is, of course, the big, giant spectacle of a musical that has been adapted from the Broadway show. Now, before I get into the musical, I should give you a little bit of background. I'm sorry, yet again, I'm going to have to give some background on sort of my idea or my feeling on Les Miserables and just musicals in general. When it comes to movies, of course, I love them, and I probably know maybe a little bit more about them than the average person. But when it comes to musicals and the musical genre, I know a lot about musicals. It's my favorite genre, probably the one that's at least close, probably the most close to my heart. I've always been a musical theater person at heart. And not only just the film adaptations, but also Broadway musicals, just musicals in general. I just gravitate towards them naturally. I love them, love them, love them. And so when I talk about musicals, and particularly when I review them, because I don't think I've ever reviewed one on here, at least not that I can remember, I tend to be kind of a purist, and I really am tough on them because I have kind of a high standard, because a lot of my favorite musicals from the golden age are 30s through the 50s and even a little bit of the 60s. To me, musicals have never even come close to matching those. And I really have faith that one day they can come back. But anyway, so you know that I really am very tough and I am a bit biased. So know that going into this review, because I have a feeling I'm going to have a lot of detractors because I did not really care for the film version of Les Miserables, or this version of Les Miserables. There have been quite a few. So, yes. And anyway, my thoughts on Les Miserables as a show in general, not as a movie. I actually do like it. I'm not a huge fan of the 80s musicals, particularly the Andrew Lloyd Webber kind of pop opera style musical. But I do like Les Miserables because it seems like it's more interesting in terms of the themes that are going on within the musical. And also, it's got beautiful music, fabulous music. The score is just wonderful, and the songs, there's a reason why the songs are so popular and have really captured the zeitgeist like they have. Songs like On My Own and I Dreamed a Dream, among, many. So yes, the music is wonderful, and the ideas behind the story are wonderful. So you've got all the potential, you've got a lot to work with, but it's the director's job to really rein all that in a way that really kind of evokes everything that was meant to be evoked from the Victor Hugo novel. And I don't think it was quite achieved. I don't fault the actors for the film or the reason that I didn't like it, but I just think it was poorly executed and poorly directed. But as always, I'm going to start with the things I liked the most and then talk about the things I didn't like. So I will start with the acting ensemble. I thought the actors were actually very good for the most part. I really did like Hugh Jackman as Jean Valjean. I thought he really did convey the humanity and the ingenuity that the character needed. And I always thought Hugh Jackman just had a really warm presence on screen. So he did a wonderful job. And of course, he has a wonderful singing voice, as we all know. I also thought that Anne Hathaway was wonderful in the role. To me, she completely stole the first act of the film, especially when she sings her song, I Dreamed a Dream. That wonderful classic song, and the way that she sang it, it's all done in just one take, and it's just of her face, and she sings it and she pours her heart out. This is the one time I felt these were genuine emotions. You're watching this girl act and she's pouring her heart out and she's not at all faking it, or at least it didn't feel that way. She really made you believe all of her sadness, all of her turmoil. It was kind of reminiscent of the one take that you see of Judy Garland when she sang The Man That Got Away in A Star Is Born. It really reminded me of that. It's just very powerful, and I really wasn't really moved by anything in the film except for that one moment, because it was the one time I felt like I wasn't being manipulated into feeling something. I just naturally felt it. So that was great. And of course, because this film had such a huge budget, I expect nothing less. I want I want lots of costumes, cool costumes, and extravagant scenery. And I got all of that. It's all part of the artifice. It's part of what this film kind of needs in order to be, I guess, successful, or at least somewhat successful. So that I loved. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I can say I really liked about this film. And now, as I said, the things that I didn't like all have to come from Tom Hooper being the director. His direction, the cinematography, all that sort of stuff did not really work for me, because As I said before, Les Miserables is a story that really does have a lot of very interesting ideas going on. Very deep, interesting ideas. You've got people like Russell Crowe's character. I didn't really like him very much in the film because his character is very, I think, one of the more interesting characters. He's morally conflicted. He's a guy who's very by the book in terms of how he wants things done. He likes to follow the rules, and he stands for corruption and things like that. But at the same time, he is a bit of a hypocrite, and he's kind of struggling back and forth between what is right and what is wrong. And I don't know, I've seen that role performed very, very well in the past. But to me, Russell Crowe kind of, I don't know, he just didn't have that compelling quality, that charisma that normally I get from Russell Crowe. So to me, he was a little bit lackluster. It wasn't that I didn't like him, I just thought he maybe could have performed it better, or it could have been performed by a better actor, certainly a better singer. But yes, the idea of him being morally conflicted is sort of an idea that goes on throughout the entire story. You know, you've got ideas of what's right, what's wrong, the weight of one decision against another, religion, political and social upheaval, all kinds of different things that are going on. And, you know, there's so much there to work with and that you can really convey in terms of the imagery, the mise en scene, and all that sort of stuff. And I did not feel that Tom Hooper did that. First of all, the cinematography, in my opinion, was pretty much horrendous. It drove me crazy. I mean, honestly, the camera is swerving all around like this, in and out of, you know, all kinds of different scenes in the scenery, and they're using every trick in the book. They're using the Dutch angles, which, for those of you who don't know, a Dutch angle is when you have the screen, or sorry, the camera is tilted at an angle. And then, you've got fisheye lenses, wide angle lenses, and the people, when they are on screen, honestly, when they're singing, it's like their faces are like that close, and it's very uncomfortable. And I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to get us to feel, the emotion and the expression in their faces, but there are other ways of conveying that. To me, I like spatial coherence in my musicals, not just my musicals, just in my films. There's so many ways that you can really convey all of the themes that are going on through imagery and through metaphors, visual metaphors, that I felt could have really been explored here, but they just weren't for whatever reason. Everything just felt very one-dimensional. When everything is so close to the face, and when everything is just, I don't know, feels so contrived, it makes the film feel kind of shallow, where it could have been really interesting. One film I really like to point to, because it's a modern musical, I tend to not like many more modern musicals, but the one I absolutely adore is Sweeney Todd. And that's because, to me, Tim Burton really understood the songs, not just what the songs were saying, but kind of what they were conveying to the characters and to the audience. He really kind of had a musical eye, if there is such a thing. And he really was able to kind of capture a rhythm with the fluidity of the camera, the imagery, and in the faces of the actors all at the same time. There is dimension in that film, which to me was sorely lacking in this one. And because when you're trying to get an audience to feel something, and you're smacking them over the head with just emotion after emotion, this film to me was just viscera. It was nothing but, it basically felt like for 3 hours someone was taking me by the shoulders and just shaking me violently, saying, feel something, feel angry, feel sad, just have that gut-wrenching feeling of angst and all of that. It just, to me, it felt very schmaltzy. And it felt almost like a cheap ploy to get Academy Awards. This movie is basically Oscar bait. When I went to go see it, people were cheering, people were crying, and I understand why. It's the type of film that is meant to evoke those sort of emotions. But if you see the film again, I think you may feel differently. I think it may not seem quite as compelling as it did the first time. And to me, that just doesn't work. I don't like it when I'm manipulated into feeling something. I want to be able to feel it. I want to think. I don't want, I want something more than just viscera, basically. And so that's my long-winded and somewhat incoherent review of Les Miserables. And I'm sorry to be a downer because this is the holidays, but I really didn't like it, and I'm sorry because I really, really wanted to, but I can't quite recommend it. But I do want to hear what everyone else has to say. So please feel free to comment. Please be gentle. Keep it civil, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, you may. The comment is below, or sorry, the link is below. And happy holidays to everyone. I cannot talk today. Happy holidays to everyone, and I'll see you guys later.